Welcome to a short preview of this Screencasts Online video tutorial. My go-to search utility is HoudahSpot by Houdah Software. Now it might actually be called HoudahSpot, so apologies if I've got that wrong, but I'll probably call it both things during this screencast. I covered it back in episode 495, and it's one of those applications that's continually being updated and refined. In this tip video, I wanted to show you some of the various ways I use HoudahSpot. So this is across on houdah.com. As you can see, there is a trial license you can download, or a trial version. It's $29 for a single user or $44 for a family license. There's also a site license as well. I've downloaded and installed it already and run it for the first time to create a new search. Now, it's very, very flexible, and I would recommend that if you're interested in a very, very powerful search engine, that you go across to episode 495. It uses Spotlight search results, but gives you this very powerful user interface to control or to hone in on the searches that you want to do. That's just a quick preview of one of this week's Apple-related tutorials from Screencasts Online. Screencasts Online is your premium source of Apple-related video tutorials. All of our members get access to brand new, up-to-date tutorials each week, as well as unlimited access to our entire video archive full of Mac and iOS-related tutorials. You can stream and download all of our videos on your Mac, iPad and iPhone, and even your Apple TV using the members-only Screencasts Online Apple TV app. Membership also includes a complimentary subscription to the digital Screencasts Online monthly magazine, published each month and packed with videos, articles, reviews, as well as hints and tips covering all aspects of the Mac, iPad, iPhone, and all of the other fantastic Apple products. So, if you're ready to start getting the most out of your Apple devices, visit ScreenCastsOnline.com today and become a Screencasts Online member.